Well, I'll start with some failures. I'd always viewed the concept of manifestation with frustration and envy. See, I'd had some almost undeniable successes with Goddard's techniques, and slowly over time I've adopted more and more a mentalist, psychist point of view on reality. I believe consciousness has a fundamental relationship with reality, and that living matter is a reflection of a universe that is inherently conscious, rather than a universe that harbors consciousness. With that said, I still struggle to believe that any of my positive manifestations would ever come into fruition, and I believe that only negative manifestations would. These beliefs were automatic, and compounded in anxiety about reality and my state of being, that then led to more negative thinking, and more anxiety and so on. I was sort of trapped within the self-fulfilling belief that I could only manifest misery, and that my life was doomed. As such, I was immensely jealous of the people on Reddit succeeding. I almost wanted to forget I ever found Goddard. At least if I didn't know what my beliefs could bring into reality, I could suffer more neutrally. However, as recently as the beginning of this month, I began a process of transforming my mindset. I started reading Goddard again, and really drinking in his meanings. I stopped with any all-limiting words or beliefs, and simply told myself that I might not have it, but that I'm occupying the state. The state to me is a feeling of calm, of relief, of joy. Asking myself, why do you feel this way if you already have it? It took some practice, but pretty soon I adopted the state of the wish fulfilled. I had a job at a lab, I was living in my nearest city, I was in a good apartment. A job in an apartment in the city had really been a longing of mine for years, but never once did I occupy the state of having what I wanted. To get into the state, I used SATS. Another addendum to this is that I'd been wanting to visit a particular bar street in said city for ages, and tried to manifest it to no avail in the past. So, back up. I wanted these things for months. I tried SATS, but poorly. I never got into the feeling, I always just visualized some vague things that were barely visualized, then went back to my misery. I'd never actually gave energy to the state, cultivated the state, and inhabited the state. That changed this month. I started job hunting, and applied to a job as a sample administrator at a lab. Not one job got back to me out of the 65, or so I applied to accept that exact job. The interview process went ridiculously well, and the next day I had the job. I have zero experience in a lab, and the only reason I wanted a job in a lab was because it sounded cool. It was never a dream of mine, I just wanted it, occupied the state of having it, and within 3 weeks I got an offer. Then I start looking for apartments and find one in the city center, or close to there that I like, and now I have the holding deposit paid with money that I never realized I had in a bank account, that had been pin-locked for months. I'm a lazy bastard, I should have called and had it unlocked months ago, but whatever. So I have a job in a lab, I'm living in my local city, and I shit you not, as I'm walking back from checking out the bus stop where I'll commute to work after viewing the apartment, I passed through the exact bar street that I'd been wanting to visit. I live 6 minutes away from there. I mean, sure, it's not a huge city, so the odds of me being near it aren't astronomical, but there was something else. Before discovering Neville, my journey to being less physicalist in my approach to reality began with a man named Carl Jung. When I started studying the archetypes of the soul and all the ways in which our psyche intersect with reality, especially concerning dream symbolism and synchronicity, I also started delving into the idea that reality is a projection of hologram of the psyche. This was where I discovered manifestation as a concept that aligned with that belief, and from there I found Neville. Well, as I'm walking down this bar street, I see a bust of Carl Jung, and a quote that he wrote about the city I'm living in. I gasped. I can't believe how effective his methods are when you actually apply them.